You're watching me on today's most popular form of home entertainment. But it wasn't always like this. You'd be surprised what we used to do for a bit of fun in the home. Steady. I'm looking at the things around our homes we take for granted and then taking a second look. Where did they come from? How did they get to be the way they are? Why are they the colours, sizes and shapes that they are? Tonight should be fun. How we've turned our homes into pleasure palaces. The inventions that were designed just for our entertainment. From fabulous quality music on CD to feature films. All that electronic wizardry purely for our amusement.
Welcome to the house of fun. Now I've come of age. Welcome to the house of fun. Welcome to the house of fun.
But how did we keep ourselves entertained before modern technology? Be sure it's true when you say I love you. It's a sin to tell a lie. Millions of hearts have been broken just because these words were spoken. And in the days before telly and stereo and radio, exactly how did we keep entertained in the home? Well, there was storytelling and book reading and games. But my favourite, from the 1800s, people sat round singing at pianos like this. Be sure it's true when you say I love you. It's a sin, the doggone sin to tell a lie. What I say? Hey, thanks, Fats. And it is a lie, because that's Fats Waller on a CD right over here. I can't actually play piano at all. All I was doing was singing along with an original recording by the great Fats Waller himself. Oh, look at that. We take for granted today all the music that's now available to us, all nicely packaged. This is a CD, a modern CD, but the recording on it was made in 1936. Fats Waller is as fresh today as he was then to me. There's all sorts available. But the lineage of all this really comes from something like this. It's a disc player. Hey, and what's it playing? God Save the King. I can't help myself. And it's from the early 1900s. And as it rotates round, it works just like the CD in that the information is being read from the surface. In this case, little notches are operating all the gizmos inside. And the good thing about these things is that even with no musical talent, you've got entertainment in the home. One of the earliest forms of mass-produced music machine was this classic music box from the mid-1800s, and that little cylinder revolves and gives us one tune. Now, this was made for the domestic market, but it's the kind of thing that people used to take on trains and boats. It was a portable music machine. You can just hear the line, can't you? Please keep the noise down on that infernal music box. And in that sense, it's just like today's Walkman. This was introduced in 1979, and people were hot for this. People wanted this, put their names down, they queued up for it. Incredible how popular this was. And not just in a gizmo sense, it was a fashion item, if this can be called fashion. What do you look like? Over 1 million Walkmans were bought in its first 2 years on sale. But real recordings of the current pop hits actually became possible in the late 1800s. Clifton Suspension Bridge opened in 1864, and 20 years later, this little chap was born right here in Bristol. His name's Nipper, and he looks like a nippy little dog. Now, apparently he was very clever, and I'm sure he would have appreciated Brunel's wonderful structure that is this bridge, because he was famously depicted appreciating another wonder of the age. The gramophone. And Nipper was used as a company logo, and he might well look a little intrigued, because the sound coming out of these things must have seemed like magic to him. Get a load of this then. What do you think of this? Now, this is an actual recording on a cylinder, and Thomas Edison called this a phonograph, which means voice writer. Early music machines generated their tunes mechanically, note by note. But the phonograph engraved actual recordings of real performances on its cylinders, like Ticklish Reuben here with his laughing song. Let's put Ticklish Reuben back in his box. These cylinders had their limitations. The early ones were made of wax, so they were fragile, and the sound quality was a bit iffy. And here is 2 minutes of sound. Now, a German, Emil Berliner, in 1877, got round that by patenting the idea of pressing discs in shellac. You've got longer duration and the bonus of 2 sides. Makes sense. And when we get this music going, get the brake off here, and on we go. The little grooves on the record cause this little needle to vibrate. That makes this little diaphragm vibrate, and that sound all generates itself and amplifies itself up this trumpet affair. There's no added power. What you see is what you get. And what do you get? Lots and lots of sound. Fantastic. Woo. But how do you control it? Well, you can't. There's no volume control. So the only way to tone things down in those days was to put a sock in it. And that's exactly what they did. And that's where the phrase comes from. In 1948, vinyl was first used to press records. Small 7-inch singles could hold as much music as the old 78s, but the new plastic could reproduce music at a much higher quality. And larger, long-playing LPs could hold 25 minutes a side. But it was the compact disc in 1982 that gave us today's perfect quality, full-length, uninterrupted recordings. But at the time, some weren't sure it would be a hit.
2 sides of a long-playing record from here to here. This new long-playing record looks very similar to a video disc we've shown you before. Whether there's a market for this kind of disc remains to be seen.
But there sure was. There's a story that says that these are 74 minutes long, simply because that's the length of Beethoven's Symphony No. 9. Apparently, the 9th was a favourite of a Japanese electronics chief who decided that it would be the longest piece we'd ever want to listen to. Now, Nippy here was impressed by scratchy old cylinders and 78s, but with his super-sensitive canine hearing, how would he react to today's CDs? Yay! I knew you'd love it. Yay! You're a good dog, eh? That's good.
You're another about a hound dog. Oh!
Why is CD and digital quality music so good? Well, let me show you.
Thank you, sir.
Let me borrow you for a minute, mate.
Back in all time.
Using Busker Graham as my sound source, and for my diagram, this hi-fi shop window, first, here's what happens in old-fashioned analog. His music goes in a microphone, and as it travels through the various circuits on its way to us, gets distorted and degraded. The window frame represents all these barriers. So that signal can get very, very weak, and it's not quite what it was when it set off. The small distorted signal eventually gets boosted up so we can hear it from our speaker. We've got the volume, it's been beefed up, but it's a bit distorted. It's got some interference on the way. It's not quite what it should be. And here's Graham, and he's not quite what he should be. He's a little bit, ooh. He's a poor copy of the original. But let's now see how digital does it. Same busker, same sound, same fabulous music. But this time, the microphone signal gets coded into a series of 1s and 0s.